Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special episode of My Watch Therapy. This is my newest watch. It is used, but it is new to me. This is a line of Citizen that most people in America have never even heard of. It's called the Citizen. Citizen, the Citizen. It is the highest level of Citizen. Is made in-house. Every piece of this watch is made from scratch. They say that. They use the word scratch on their website. Every piece of it is brought in-house, built in-house, shaped, honed by 45 workers. Right? That's like smaller than Grand Seiko for a company as big as Citizen. Let's take a moment to connect. Look at that bracelet. The links underneath are polished. So as you roll the wrist, you start seeing them. It's incredible. This claim to fame for this watch, it is accurate to 1 plus or minus 1 second a year. A year. There's so much that goes into building this watch, like it blows me away. It absolutely blows me away. One of the ways they make it plus or minus a second in a year is that a normal quartz, as we know, vibrates at 32,000, I think it's 678 times a second. Remember that number, 32,000 and change, right? This one vibrates in a second 8,300,000, and I think it's like 88,000 something times a second. That's like 256 times the norm. 8.388 million times a second. Citizen made it their business to create a watch that was as accurate as a watch can be. It is solar powered. It has no aids, though. No GPS, no Bluetoothing, none of that. This watch really locks into its environment. It senses the elements and adjusts constantly. It has thermal regulation system where there's essentially a grid inside the movement, and once a minute. Most watches like Grand Seiko, it's once every 2 or 3 minutes. Once a minute, it senses the temperature and can send out individual pulses to different parts of the movement to make sure it's adjusted correctly to the temperature. Okay, that is the level that we are talking about here. Okay, so they had 3 problems, is what they said, challenges, is basically how do you control and protect that quartz from elements such as temperature, gravity, and then the aging of the crystal. Well, they did quite a few things. They do age crystals ahead of time. They put 17 joules in here. The watch pieces that build this movement are so precise they use what's called the Liga process. And I believe that's something like using something like an X-rays or some sort of electromagnetic spectrum wave to help cut the parts so they are so precise that there's no play, no tiny micro part of the movement that doesn't fit perfectly into the rest of the movement. I mean, guys, this is so next level, it's beyond. This has a 39 millimeter case, and I'm telling you, it wears bigger. I think it wears bigger. I have a 17 centimeter circumference wrist. Put that on. Oh my. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so comfortable. I think all those little small links just allow it to adjust around your wrist so perfectly. It has a backlash protection system, so they create a special gear that does not let that, look at that, boom, every marker, boom, the seconds hit. It does not allow for any play with that, so there's no backlash whatsoever that, a backlash over even months can cause it to not line up with indices and, of course, affect precision. That's another thing they did. They double test all their movements to check for any types of deviations. It is, like I said, Eco Drive. And this is the AQ6100-56a. I'll put more information in the description. So again, every piece is made from scratch. I have noticed so many things about wearing it. It's been for about the last week. I love so much. I love this beveling, this right around the edge there, curved down, right even to look at that little corner. This is hand polished. How did they see that little, beautiful, just that little bit of polishing right there. I also notice these individual indices. Can you see where my thumb is here? It's brushed on top, and somehow they put it looks black, right? Zaratsu black polish. That's what it's called, right? Because it appears black from many directions. And then silver. They polished the very edge of each of those indices, not just these big ones. It's phenomenal. Take a look at that. Let's see. The sapphire crystal is ultra clear coating. It definitely appears as if there's no sapphire there to me. Of course there is. Case is nice and thin. That pearl dial. If I could take this outside, I should do another segment. But this pearl dial is like a sunburst. Look at that. And I have never had a watch. Grand Seiko's got nothing. 9F quartz. They have nothing on these guys. I've never had a watch with a pearl dial like that. Where I was driving the other day and the sun hit it just right. And it blinded me for a moment. It actually reflected so evenly, so purely. It purely went into my eyeballs and just about blinded me. So again, it's not reflective. And again, some of the brushing, some of the things you would think are not true, like that brushing actually reflects really well. It's not this muted thing when it gets out into the sun. So you got the polishing that reflects beautifully, but also you can see it right there on the lug. Even the brushing, the beautiful vertical brushing, reflects light so well. So well. I've never had a watch do either of those things. This also reminds me a little bit of, if you've heard of Credor. Look up Credor. That's the highest level, beyond Grand Seiko and the Seiko company. And it reminds me of a Credor. Low production, beautiful, simple. It is perfection. I find nothing wrong with it. I find nothing that is not pleasing to the eye. And I think some of us, and myself included, occasionally, that's so silky. Look at that. Rolex be damned. Might overlook Citizen. They don't connect with Citizen, I've heard. And I think it's because, they're not all this level, right? This is the most expensive watch, second most expensive watch they sell. This retails at $7,500. I paid less than $3,000. If you're interested to know how I did that, let me know. Bought it from a website in Japan, proxy service. I've done a video on that. But I cannot find anything wrong with it. It does remind me of a Credor. It is like if you heard, I think it's called the Aichi, EICHI2, the Aichi 2. Reminiscent of Credor, in my mind. That's one thing that I kind of noticed. And I was just struck this week when I first started wearing it, just how everything in my house but this watch essentially relies on an aid. I have sonic clocks, GPS clocks, radio sync clocks. All of them cannot do it on their own. I hope this thing lives up to the plus or minus 1 second. Obviously, I got to stay within the temperature range, which is, I think, 40 degrees up to almost 100 degrees, right? You can't stick this thing out in the snow and think it's going to be perfect. They're not claiming that. You cannot put it out in 110-degree heat and have it not affected. So it does say plus or minus 1 second kept in normal operating temperatures. So I find myself actually like trying, like cheering it on. Like I want it to be that accurate. I want it to be that plus or minus 1 second. But I got to let the watch be itself, right? I can't sit there and baby it and try to protect it because I want it to do what it says it can do. But at 8,388,000 vibrations a second, I got to think it's going to be pretty close. That they've done that. They've got the thermal testing. It even has this bump protection. I'll call it bump protection. But if the watch senses jarring, I'm not going to do it. It actually, like microscope, like in a millisecond, freezes the entire movement and waits till it's stable and then corrects itself and then goes back to the correct time. So if it feels like it's being jostled heavily or dropped, it almost like curls itself up into a ball and protects itself. Unbelievable. Next level. Nothing else in my house can keep time like this without some kind of aid, some kind of crutch. I'm going to call it. Yep, that white dial, I have my other note says that it does take on colors too. If I've been somewhere near blue, I'm trying to get a little bit of the sky here. I'm near a window. And if it's near things that are blue, it'll kind of take on some blue. If it's in something that's near like a salmonish sort of color, wherever you are, it'll pick it up. Just a light hue. It's not like reflecting perfectly, but I thought that was also awesome. Yeah, so many great things about it. I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts. I don't want people to overlook Citizen. I know I have. This movement, I should say also, was called the 0100 to commemorate 100 years of Citizen's company. So they thought, why not build the best watch ever made, the most precise? You tell me a watch that is more precise, and you tell me a watch in this price point. I don't even know what other quartz watches cost more. Maybe there's some Rolex because it's made of precious metals, but none of them can hold a candle to this watch's accuracy. None of them. Rolex, Omega, I think they came up with one, the Bulova. They have the Meteorite, lunar pilot. I looked that up. It's like I think it vibrates at like 262,000 vibrations a second versus 36,000. This is almost 8.5 million vibrations a second, right? Not even close. Couple quick things. It's got the eagle. Some people call it the chicken. The eagle, right? All the things that the eagle stands for. It's also got it on the crown, right? It stands for strength, purity, leadership. Look at the case back. Look at that. 18 karat gold medallion, ladies and gentlemen. 18 karat gold. It's really so, it's art. It's engineered to the highest degree. It is beautiful on wrist. It is comfortable. It's, I think, a little understated, and I love that. It's not blingy. But I'll tell you what, you get this thing outside, any sort of light, right? There it is. I mean, you can see that. Not blingy, but god damn, it looks good. And it just reflects so well. So well. Yeah. Winner on this one. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I think I'll probably do another one just because I've only had it a couple days, close to not even a week. And I'm just sort of, still kind of getting to know what it is and what it's not. And right now it's everything. One last thing I remembered, the seconds hand, right? That is made, I think it's brass. I wish I could find it in my notes. It actually has a curve to it at the tip to allow the seconds hand to be read more easily. It's an extra long seconds hand. You can see that. And how it sits on the wrist, so important. Love it. All right, you guys. This has been another episode of My Watch Therapy. Don't forget the new subscriber January giveaway. New subscribers are entered in a contest to win a G-Shock Frogman. Meanwhile, take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your day. Please let me know what questions you have, what thoughts you have about this. Like it, don't like it, maybe just appreciate it, whether you'd buy it or not. A $7,500 quartz, okay. Not for everybody. That's why I didn't pay full price, and I wouldn't. I found they have a blue dial of this, and in Japan, so right now I found there's a few others for sale. There's a blue dial with like these like almost like little star dots all over it that reflect. I'm kid you not. It's awesome. I did not see another one of these. Maybe there is now for sale, but perhaps there is used on the Japanese website I used. But anyway, the most precise watch in the world, most accurate watch. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Again, really appreciate your viewership and all your support. I recently passed 500 subscribers. I'm proud of that. Let's keep going. Citizen, the Citizen, that's the line. Again, this is the AQ6100-56a. I think it's the 56L is the blue one, I believe. Take care. Be safe out there. And I hope you liked the video. Thank you.